legendary Viswanathan Anand scored hat-trick of wins yesterday at the Superbet rapid event in Poland. I have picked 3 moments from those games. He defeated Wojtaszek, Wesley So and Anton Kurubov yesterday, and all 3 games were amazing. This is the first position between Viswanathan Anand and Wojtaszek, and here Vishy played rook e6 attacking the knight on d6. First question for you, what will you do if black goes knight b7? It's puzzle rush time, and congratulations if you found the move h4. And the point is, if the queen takes the pawn on h4, white has knight takes f5, attacking the rook and the queen simultaneously. So in this position after rook e6, b takes c4 was played in the game, and this is the second moment. What will you do as white? This is a very difficult move, and when I saw this, I was not able to comprehend what exactly was the idea. But as I started discovering more variations, I started appreciating the beautiful idea of this move, and I'm going to reveal the move now. The move is g3. If you're considering d takes c4 in the position, black has knight e4 and the rook on e6 and the knight on e7 are together very loose. So in order to combat this threat, white goes g3. And now even after this, if black goes knight e4, white can simply take d takes e4, and after rook takes e7, he can play f4 and the queen has no square. If the queen goes to g4, then we can just take the queen and then take the rook. So g3 is very beautiful. And after c takes d3, white has f4 or h4. h4 is even better, but in the game Vishy played f4, and after queen g4, f g4, rook into d6, he won a piece. Here the last chance to stay in the game for Wojtaszek was rook d8, but he played c4, and after rook d4, Vishy was able to convert the material advantage into a full point. Now we are coming to the second example where Wesley So is white and Viswanathan Anand is black. White has just castled on the queen side, and now it's your turn. How will you play as black? In this position, it's very clear that white wants to go g4, h4 or e4, e5 and put everything on the king side or the center and try and pose problems to the black king. And in this position, if you have found b5, very good, congratulations, you understand what you're supposed to do in this position. And Vishy Anand focuses completely on the queen side, and after e4, the threat of e5 is evident, but he goes for counter attack with b4, and after a b4, bishop b4, the problem of fork is solved by default. And then after e5, knight d7, this knight on f8 is doing a commanding job of defending h7, so this knight is freed up. This is what Vishy Anand also mentioned in his interview. And after knight a4, again this is another critical moment. What would you do as black? Your bishop on b4 is hanging. Do you want to exchange this? Do you want to move this, or do you want to play something else? Also important to note that c6 pawn is hanging. Alright, I'm going to reveal the move now. The move is rook b8. What this does is brings a rook into the game. Also, it is a pawn sacrifice, but black gets a lot of counterplay in return for the pawn. I like this move because it's also bringing the piece into the action. The b2 pawn could be a potential target. So after rook b8, his opponent played queen takes c6. But I want to mention what happens after bishop d2. After bishop d2, white goes rook d2, and after rook b8, white can play something like queen c3, just stopping queen a5. This is a viable alternative, but I like this move because it also poses this question to the opponent: would you want to take this pawn now or not? And after queen takes c6, bishop into d2, rook d2, bishop b7. The queen cannot remain on the c line because of rook c8, so queen has to move. Again, he gets an important tempo with rook e6 attacking the queen. And after queen a3, again a good moment for you to see how to proceed as black. I think he thought about how to conduct his pieces on the queen side and realized that this bishop needs to be exchanged, so that he could put the queen on a5, bishop on a6, and rook could also come to a6, but there's this bishop on d3, so he decided to go bishop a6 first. And if bishop a6, the rook comes to the a line by default. So again, this is really good. So here he went bishop c2, and then after bishop into e2, rook into e2, he played rook a6. So he cleared that square on a6 for his rook, and this queen is going to jump to a5 very soon, and that's what happened. And after e6, fe6, rook came to c6, and then as I had mentioned earlier, the b2 pawn is a target. It fell on the very next move after queen e1 and queen takes b2, and they just played a few moves, but then it was all over, and Wesley so resigned. Knight b4 is a threat for which white has no defense. Next we go to game 3. So in this position, after queen takes a5, it is white's move. I think this is again a very important moment as white. If you play a move like h3 or king h1, just a null move, black has an important idea in mind. If you are able to sense what black is trying to do, it becomes easy to find the move. Black's idea is bishop b5. Even if you play h3, its idea is bishop b5. So when you realize that this is the idea, then it becomes clear that a4 is the best move for white. So after a4 castles, he got his rook to e1, connected his rooks with queen d2, put a pawn on h4 because it could also help in going to h5, limiting the potential of this knight. And after a few moves, he faced an important decision after knight f5. What will you do as white? Okay, take your time here, and I'm going to reveal the move now. After knight f5, the best move for white is bishop takes f5. Again, some players could be reluctant on giving this bishop for the knight, but in this position, as they say about exchanges, it's not about which piece you exchange, but it's all about what remains on the chessboard after that exchange takes place. So after e takes f5, knight d4, this knight on d4 cannot be perturbed by any other piece, and in this position after knight d4, queen e7, the pawn on h4 is attacked, he supported it, and after h5, he immediately attacked the pawn on h5 with queen e2, also intending to go e6 at the same time. And after g6, he got e6, and the position is just very much better for white. After f4, g4, fe6, he got his rook to g3, and after queen takes h4, he played queen e5, attacking the rook on c7, and knight takes e6 is also an idea, and after rook c4, he just resigned. So Viswanathan Anand won this game. I would like to give you one more puzzle here before I say bye bye, and that is after rook g6, king f7, how will you continue as white? Rook g7 is pretty obvious, but there is another flashy move which I liked, and that is knight takes e6. So the puzzle is that after king takes g6, I want you to find checkmate in 3 moves. Alright, 3, 2, 1, and the answer is f5 check. If the king goes to f7, then we have this checkmate in 3, and if the rook captures the pawn, then we have checkmate in 1. Those were the moments I had picked from the day 1 of Superbet rapid event in Poland. Anand is currently leading with a perfect score, and we hope to see him win more games, and I'll be happy to share some more insights